In recent years, speckled trout fishing on the Atlantic and Gulf Coast have become more popular than ever. A handful of anglers and captains have distinguished themselves and developed a reputation as Gator trout specialists. Today, I'm on the water with one of these captains, whose reputation has reached Texas, Florida, and beyond, Captain Josh Sutton of Pamlico Point Guide Service. And with over 40 citation releases this year already, I assure you he has the credentials to back it up, although I found him to be incredibly humble and grateful for what he has achieved. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Here we go.
That's the bait I got my big mama on right there, just a full-size scooter walk.
You like that green head, black tail, don't you?
I do. I don't, it's just a...
Is there a name for that color pattern?
Well, all my friends call it the Sutton. Because I guess I've caught quite a few nice fish on it.
Evidently, you have for sure. I've seen that one hanging out of the mouth on a lot of your photos.
But I don't know, I just call it what it is, black chartreuse head, you know. My friend Jeff Shamlin that does those,
yeah,
he paints all baits.
Yeah.
But the peanuts and stuff he paints, we call it the Creep. That's the name he gave it, was
okay.
Creep.
Creep.
Yeah.
Nice.
He names all his, most of his baits after rock songs. So it's like a Stone Temple Pilots song.
Okay, you know?
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I mean, the reason why I switched to this bait this morning is because it's blowing hard. It's really choppy. We're riding, riding waves, and I'm just trying to kind of outweigh the conditions with the sound of the bait and just trigger that bite. There's also a lot of bait around, so you're kind of competing with that too. So mornings like this, when it's overcast, I don't feel like the fish really have their guard up as much. So they're gonna go hard at whatever they do eat. And this big loud bait will maybe draw that fish in from a wider range, and maybe you don't have to throw right on top of her head too. There's lots of reasons though for a louder bait like that this morning. As we slide back into the creeks and we get out of the current and all the noise that I've been talking about, we're gonna still have bait, and probably even more bait to compete with, but it'll be more of a finesse style bite the farther we go back into the creeks and get out of the weather and the wind.
It's a totally different, there's a
blow up. Decent fish. So right then, I was working it pretty fast this morning. That cast right there, I slowed my speed down to half the speed, just and she blasted about five twitches in. 20-incher maybe. But yeah, and then once the school of fish has figured out you're there, like that deer, once their senses are heightened, all their senses are heightened. So pretty fish. I'm just gonna get down a handler by hand. Oh, I thought she'd come off. Let me get this glove off my hand. There we go.
That's a healthy fish.
Sir, beautiful. Man, look at the purple on that fish. So yeah, just switched up that retrieve just a little bit. The bait popping everywhere. Finally got to a bank too where the wind is blowing onto it instead of away from. Oh. Well, that wasn't so smooth, but yep.
Well done.
All right, man. Got the skunk out of the boat.
Yeah, brother.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
When I throw a topwater out, it's just from experience, but I always like to let it sit a good at least 5 seconds before I start working it. I never let that bait hit the water and start as soon as it hits the water. It's just a preference for me, but a lot of times, especially on a big fish, just the sound of that bait hitting the water is enough to call her up there. And if she heard it, it's just up there kind of sitting in the water, it's an easy meal. And I've caught a lot of big fish before I ever even had a chance to work the bait. Probably ain't gonna happen like that today because it's rough. Usually those bites like that happen when it's slick calm and they can hear everything around them. It hits that still water.
Like other captains that I have fished with, Josh has pretty strong opinions about different lures, both those that have let him down and those that have helped make him successful as an angler. He will often modify his lures to make them perform to his liking.
Grunting at me. Front, see, you hit it like that. That's what you want.
Josh stressed to me, and I agree 100%, the importance of keeping hooks sharp and new. You'll notice no hooks on several of these topwater baits. That's because he won't throw it if they're not laser sharp. He rigs his own hooks, hooks of his choosing.
What brand is that bait?
It's a Mega Bass Vision 110, but it's a blank of that bait. It's the Mega Bass blank actually, but my buddy takes and he trims down that nose so it, instead of a 6-foot diver, it's then like a 3 to 3.5 foot diver. 3 number 6 wide gap hooks on it. Just, it's a extreme slash bait. It's really loud too. So for windy days, rougher conditions, or just when I know there's a big fish around and she won't commit to the top, this is next choice for me usually. Something that hangs up in that top 3 feet of the water column and it's just still as loud and obnoxious as that topwater bait almost. And sometimes I'll work this nonstop like a top. Like today I'm working with a 3 or 4 twitch and then pause. And sometimes you just straight work it back to the boat and it's different every trip, kinda. Just like that. I mean, I just pretend it's a topwater bait, but I can't see it. And I just left, right in the water. And I will give it a little stop. I try to make myself try different retrieves every trip because we get so dialed in on one trip and you know that's what they're doing. It's hardly ever the same 2 days in a row. Stab this power pole down, it ain't that much. Yeah, decent trout there. I didn't even twitch it. That's a good one too. That's a better one, I think, at least. Man, that was still sinking. I think I had my, I can't tell yet. I think it might just be about a 20.
Net if you want it. No, I'm not important.
I'll turn in there. Yeah, getting there. I like it. Hit that. Ain't really no doubt that they wanted it. Oh, sorry, buddy. I'm just trying to let you go. Didn't like that. Let's grab him elsewhere. He stinks. You smell that? He stinks like an eel or something.
Pretty fish.
Yes, sir.
I'm Captain Josh Sutton, owner and operator of Pamlico Point Guide Service. I offer trips for the beginner angler or the kids, somebody that wants to learn. That's the most fun part for me as a captain, is to be a teacher, to bring someone out here and give them an experience that they've never had before, and then give them the knowledge to take that out and use it. But I offer trips for the beginner to the expert, for trout and redfish. Even though I offer trips for the beginners, I really specialize in chasing a big trout. It won't be a numbers day usually. We're gonna force ourselves to throw what that big fish is gonna fall for. But I offer a trophy trout guide trip for 2 anglers max. Feel like 2 anglers is the most that can really get a good shot that day and really concentrate on getting that cast in front of that big leery fish. That's been a really good year for me. Every year's a learning experience and a new opportunity to be able to share that experience. I mean, catching fish is great, but when someone says they want to come catch a fish of a lifetime, that's a hard sell even for the captain. So it feels really good to take what I have learned or what I feel and set that rod in someone's hand and watch them finish, you know, and watch them make that happen. It feels great. Try to imagine each cast has a 30-inch fish at the end of it, and then it'll happen eventually, you know. Nobody's gonna think you're bad unless you think you're bad.
I like that. Got to believe.
You got to believe it.